120 today. Toastmasters Club is one of the great platforms where we learn to become a great speaker, an effective communicator, and ultimately a wonderful leader. Everyone, please take out this beautiful device, put it on silent mode, or switch it off so that we can avoid any kind of distraction throughout the meeting. Done? Yes. Please do it now. Moving on, the motto of our Rawalpindi Toastmasters Club, I would like everyone to please stand up. Repeat the motto after me. For better listening, for better thinking, and for better speaking. We learn by doing. Thank you. Have a seat. Now, I would like to hand over the stage to one of the great persons, the one and only, our great president of this club, Toastmaster Hassan. Over to you,
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Samar, for the welcome. How are you all? I need some more energy. How are you all? Yeah, that's right. All right. So, how many of you have strong belief on themselves? If you can raise your hand, I can see a lot of hands. Let me share a small story. There was a boy who was passing by a group of huge elephants, and suddenly he noticed that these huge creatures, their leg was tied with a single rope. He was confused that these big creatures can easily break the rope and run away, but why they're still standing still? So with all this confusion in his mind, he saw a trainer of the elephants sitting next to them. He walked towards the trainer and asked, why these big elephants, these big creatures are still standing still, but they can easily break the rope and run away? The trainer smiled and said, when they were small, we used to tie them to the same rope. And at that time, that rope was very good enough to hold them. But since they grew up, their mind is conditioned in such a way that the same rope is still enough to hold them. Ladies and gentlemen, we all can relate to this story. We have certain conditions, we have conditioned our mind in such a way that there are a lot of things which we can do, but from the past experience of us, we think that we can't do those things. We need to change our mindset. We can do a lot of things. Just take the example of Toastmaster journey. A lot of us can become DTM, but we never tried because we have that thing in mind that we cannot be a DTM or at some other level. So for that, we have an amazing session lined up with none other than DTM Umar, who is actually give us the insight on how to become a DTM, and he will help us to be at that journey. With that, I would like to announce the winners of the last meeting. The best prepared speaker was Toastmaster Sana. She's not available, but we can have a round of applause. The best table topic speaker was none other than Toastmaster Akash. And the best evaluator award again went to Toastmaster Akash. And then the best, the big three award went to Toastmaster Radia. So a round of applause for her. In this, I can see a lot of new faces here today. So let's have their questions. I'll call one of them here and ask them for the name and the question. So please.
My name is Praveen Ashram. I am additional director in their headquarters. And for the first time, I visited the Sananda Toastmaster Club last week. And then I thought to visit the Rawalpindi Toastmasters. And I contacted the president of the Rawalpindi Toastmaster Club, who very warmly welcomed me to visit here. That's why I'm here. And now I'm here to learn. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for that.
We have another guest from the Sananda Club.
My name is Aslan Ali. I'm
Deputy Director at RTC Meeting. And Mr. Ravi Rashid, friend of mine, and I visited this to explore further here today. And it's a good experience to be there and here as well. I can see some senior people also sitting. So it's a surprise that they are still in the phase of learning, and it's a combination of both youth and seniors. So this is first.
Thank you so much. We have another guest from Islamabad, Toastmaster Club, Toastmaster Bilal.
Although I was thinking I am not the guest of this meeting, thank you so much for giving me the honor. My name is Mohammed Bilal. I recently served as a VP Education in Islamabad Toastmaster Club. Nowadays, my duty is as assistant director, Division C for Quality External. So, inshallah, we will have a great learning during this session. Thank you so much.
We have another guest, who's also my friend, Aswad.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Asghar Nawaz Malik. I'm working in EFU as an area sales head. We are very known to each other from quite long. Back in the year 2010, we used to work together in Whiteride. He's a very good friend of mine, mashallah. I've seen him growing in Toastmasters is his club. I mean, he has started. He offered me before to come over here, but due to my own reasons, I wasn't available. Last night we spoke, and I was coming from some party. He told me that we have a session today, so I'm here. And thank you so much for being here. Or can I give you? Yeah. उसमें इन्होंने जिक्र किया सर ने कि माशाल्लाह एज ग्रुप के भी काफी सारे लोग मौजूद हैं, तो दैट इज अ गुड थिंग एंड लर्निंग तो किसी भी टाइम पे भी हो सकती है. थैंक यू सो मच.
We have another guest from another city, Bhutan. So,
Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Farooq Aftab, and currently I'm studying cost management accountancy here in Islamabad, ICMB, working in Shifa International as a cost analyst. And I was going through LinkedIn and scrolling and just came to one of videos of Sir Hassan Akram about interview skills. So I commented there and asked him about what is Toastmasters. And I think we had a call on WhatsApp for 20 to 45 minutes. And I was not expecting from someone at a position of president to call me and explain all that things to me. So I have just visited, and frankly speaking, I am here in his class, and it was amazing for me. And inshallah, I will learn something from you.
we have pretty much done with the guest. We have added 2 more segments to our meeting. Oh, sorry. Yes, we have a virtual guest. I believe it's Toastmaster Latif, right? Toastmaster Latif, can you unmute yourself and let us know who you are, so that people who are unknown to you can actually know who you are and tell us about yourself. Toastmaster Latif, can you hear us? Thank you. All right, so we have added 2 more segments in our meeting, which will actually help us grow as a group, as a member, and grow as a club. So one session is going to be a small and brief 2-minute session by VP Education, in which she will tell us about our standing on our pathways, so that you can have the clear visibility of where you stand. And then we have another session of 2 minutes from VP membership, Toastmastership, will actually tell us the importance of Toastmaster and why you need to become a Toastmaster member. So with this, I would like to hand over the stage to Toastmaster Sarah.
Thank you, Toastmaster Hassan, ladies and gentlemen. So I'll briefly present the pathway status that the club has. And out of the 11 pathways that Toastmaster International offers, I'm very proud to see that RTC Profile has 10 pathways out of those 11. So there's only one pathway, which is team collaboration, that we would like to add to our portfolio as well. Rest of them are all here. I've got a couple of extra printouts if you would like to see the performance here as well. So you can see that dynamic leadership is the one which is being opted by 5 of our members. So that's the most favorite of our members, followed by then persuasive influence, presentation mastery, and strategic relations. All of them, there are 4 candidates, 4 participants who have opted for this. Then if we go to the second level, or if I would, so here, I would just like to touch upon that there are 5 people currently who have cleared all of their speeches in level 1. And there are 3 people who are at project 1 of level 1, followed by 2 people who are at project 3 of level 1. And same goes for all of the bars over here. We would like to present this summary fortnightly to this meeting, so that everybody is aware of where we are with respect to the pathways and who is at which speech levels without disclosing their names. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Next section was lined up for Toastmaster, but he is downstairs to pick up the case. We can do that at the end. So with this, I would like to hand over the meeting to the Toastmaster of the evening, Toastmaster Mayukiani.
Thank you, Toastmaster Hassan. I'm glad to present myself as a Toastmaster of the evening. As we know that we have to do something in our lives, and in order to move forward and in order to achieve some targets in our lives, we need to have unbeatable mindset. As you know that right kind of mindset is prerequisite to launch ourselves as a person, as a professional, and as a social human being. So with this, the theme of today's meeting is right mindset is the key to fight self-doubts. As we know that most of the time we have doubts upon our own personality. We think that we can't do anything. We think that we are nothing. We feel that we cannot make progress. That is why we do not think big. This is the problem related to our mindset. So before launching ourselves, before doing anything, we need to correct our mindset. So the first thing which I must say here is that smooth seas never makes good sailors. Smooth seas never makes good sailors. Yes, this is absolutely right, because we know that whenever we are going to enter into the practical field of our life, so at that particular time, we will encounter many problems. Yes. So the problems, the issues which we are going to face, so ultimately we are going to develop the mindset where we are going to complain at each and every situation. So the complaining mindset is the byproduct of this particular thought. So one thing which we must develop is that problems, issues difficulties, they are the part and parcel of our lives. We need to accept them. We need to fight against them. So whenever we are going to fight against the troubles, so first of all, we need to fight against our own personality, just because of some doubts. And these doubts, these problems have been given to us by the people around us, the people who are working with us, a society where we are living in, the media which we are using in our lives. All these things are going to control our minds. That is why we do not build right kind of mindset. So if we want to move forward, we need to face the problems, issues, troubles wholeheartedly, and we need to be ready. And what is the solution of this particular problem? When we are going to encounter huge number of problems, we need to develop capabilities. We need to have certain skill sets. We need to develop unbeatable attitude. So in this way, we can easily fight against all the problems, all the diseases which we are having mentally, which we are facing socially. So with this, our theme of the meeting is right mindset is the key to fight against all the troubles. So with this, I am moving forward and I'm just going to announce that it is a great pleasure for all of us that we are having this wonderful meeting where we are gonna fight against our public speaking fear, the fear of glossophobia. When I came in this club, I was unable to speak even a single sentence. I was pretty much confused. But now, due to this club, I have fought against all these issues. So this meeting has different segments through which we can develop this kind of temperament, this kind of confidence, this kind of personality, where we are available at every position. Whenever everyone is going to ask us to speak about anything, we are ready to speak it out, just because of this Toastmaster Club. So with this, we have three beautiful segments of Toastmasters meeting. Number one is table topic session. Table topic session is the one of the sessions where we are going to speak on our feet. The topic is given to us and we have to speak about that topic. In this way, we are going to develop different kind of skill set, different kind of capabilities. And the second beautiful session is about prepared speeches. We have been given a topic according to our pathways, according to our project, and we have to prepare the speech and then we have to deliver it. This is the second session which we are having and which we are enjoying today. And the third session is about the evaluation. As I always say that self-assessment is the best assessment. So we have evaluation session where we are going to evaluate our own speeches, our own language, each and everything regarding our speeches, regarding our pathways. These are the three segments which we are having in today's meeting. One beautiful thing which we are including in today's meeting is that we have an educational session, and we are honored to have distinguished Toastmaster Umair with us, who is going to give his insight about the session. So that I will announce later on. Last but not the least, we have some role players who are going to play certain roles in order to smoothly run the meeting. So I would like to ask first of all the role of the timer, which is being done by Toastmaster Saira. Please, would you like to let us know about your role?
Thank you, Toastmaster PM. Oh, mine. As a timekeeper, my role would be to see that every speech is done within the allotted time. For the prepared speeches, today we have two different kinds of speech. One speech would have 7 minutes time as a maximum, and the other one will have 12 minutes time as a maximum. The educational session can go up to 18 minutes as a maximum, where I will show the red card. For the minimum time, I'll show the green card. And when the speaker is about to approach the maximum time, I'll show the yellow one. For table topics, the speakers can speak from 1 to 2 minutes. At 2 minutes, I'll show them the red card. Even after the red card, they'll get 30 seconds of grace time. And for the evaluations, they'll vary from 3 to 5 minutes, depending upon whether it is a table topics evaluation or a speech evaluation. So best of luck to all the speakers.
Thank you. Next role player is Toastmaster Aziz, who is going to perform the role of grammarian. Yes, Toastmaster Aziz.
Thank you, Toastmaster Minds. Fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests, I will be listening carefully to all that is said and will take note of the book and for user English language. Near the end of the meeting, when called upon by the general evaluator, I will give my report.
Thank you. Thank you. Roles which are being played and performed by none other than Toastmaster Marina. So, ask counter and board counter. Would you like to explain them your role?
I will be listening very carefully when I hear anyone say in, on, and so, or repetition of any other correct words, such as you know, I mean, etc. I will note it down. And at the end of the session, I will be called upon by the general evaluator, and I will present a report of the number of the use of the pillars of the principles. Thank you. This is my role as our counter, and I'm also performing a role as the board counter. So during the meeting, we will be voting for the best table topic speakers, best prepared speakers, best evaluator, and the winner of the Big Three award. I will distribute the voting slips for you to vote and write the name of your choice on it. After each vote, I will go around the room collecting your ballots. I will count the ballots to determine the winner. I will not vote except when there is a tie. My vote will take the tie in this manner. We will have a clear-cut winner in each category. I shall announce the winners when asked for by the presiding officer towards the end of the meeting. That's my role as a board counter.
Thank you, Toastmaster Marina. As we have come to know that this is a complete package for self-development. With this, without delaying our time, we have a wonderful session today where we are going to learn many important aspects regarding Toastmasters as well as distinguished Toastmasters. So, the topic of educational session is evaluating yourself and achieving distinguished Toastmaster award. So with this, we have our distinguished and one of my favorite persons, Toastmaster Umair, who is going to give his insight about this particular educational session. So let's have a big round of applause for Toastmaster Umair.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have a question for all of you. For those of you who are members of the club, who are Toastmasters, why did you join the club? What is it that you want out of your Toastmasters journey?
To improve the speaking skills. To improve the speaking skills,
To improve the communication and leadership skills.
communication and leadership skills, to gain confidence for public speaking, ma'am.
I find this very effective and useful platform for learning from others and improving ourselves.
Wonderful.
I believe it needs the personal character and learning.
Building personal character and learning.
Networking.
Networking, wonderful. All of these are beautiful reasons to be in the club and to continue your journey with the club. You've heard this DTM a lot of times. What is DTM? DTM is a distinguished Toastmaster, and it's the highest educational award that is offered by Toastmasters International. And what is it that it entails? When you continue your journey, when you continue delivering your projects, when you continue to work on yourself and build your skill set, eventually you become a distinguished Toastmaster. Every one of you has given their own reason for being here in the club. Networking, building character, communication skills, leadership skills, all of these, and there are much more that you can learn if you follow the distinguished Toastmaster path. If you deliver your projects by going through the guidelines that are given by Toastmasters International. I started my Toastmasters journey back in 2015. And just like most of you sitting here today, at that time, I had no idea what a distinguished Toastmaster is, nor did I ever dream of becoming a distinguished Toastmaster. However, as I started going through the process and as I started delivering my projects, I started learning new skills. I started developing trustworthy bonds with the members of Toastmasters community. And that started reflecting in my personal and professional growth. The founder of Toastmasters, Ralph C. Smedley, once said that if you can get out of Toastmasters what it really has to offer, you are never going to get out of Toastmasters. And that is exactly what happened to me. How can you continue your journey? How can you elevate yourself and become a distinguished Toastmaster? So this is a pathways chart to distinguished Toastmaster. The first and foremost thing, we have 11 pathways as the report was presented by our Vice President Education, and 10 of them have been adopted by the members of the club. The first and foremost requirement of becoming a distinguished Toastmaster is completing 2 of the pathways that are there. The first pathway that you're currently working on, it has 5 levels. You have to complete those 5 levels. And then you have to select another pathway and you have to complete 5 levels in that too. These 2 bars, they represent the completion of 2 pathways. Then there's the requirement of either working as a club sponsor or delivering a youth leadership program or delivering a speech craft program. We'll talk about it later in detail, what all of these mean and how you can do all of these. Then the next step is working as a club mentor or a club coach. We'll see how you can be a club mentor or how you can be a club coach and what is the difference between the two and what are the skills that all of you can learn by working as a club mentor or a club coach. Then you have to work as a club officer for at least 1 year. And last but not the least, you have to serve as a district officer. Currently, in Pakistan, we are a territorial council and this requirement, it does not apply to us. So we are not required to serve as district officer in order to complete our DTM, but the rest of the requirements, we have to do those. And last but not the least, you have to complete your DTM project, which basically entails working on a project with a team that benefits an organization, and you apply all of what you've learned in your Toastmasters journey in delivering that project. And that is how you become a DTM. Moving on, as I talked about that the first requirement is completing 2 pathways.
There are 5 levels in every pathway, and every pathway has on an average 14 or 15 projects that you're required to deliver. What do those 14 or 15 projects entail? Their skills like emotional intelligence, their skills like negotiation, their skills like conflict resolution. All of these skills, we need them in our daily lives, both in our homes and in our professional lives. I'll strongly urge all of you to work on your pathways, ensure that you complete the 2 pathways. If you can resolve to deliver at least 1 project in 1 month, that is easily doable. Go through the guidelines of that project, connect with your mentor, prepare a speech 5 to 7 minutes by incorporating the guidelines of that project, and you have completed one of your projects. 1 speech, 1 project in 1 month, that is easily doable. Select the second path, work on that, complete the 5 levels, and you have done one of the requirements of being a DTM. The second requirement that we talked about was working as a club officer for at least 1 year. There's 7 roles in the executive committee, and every role has different skill set for you to offer, starting from the president, vice president education, membership, public relations, club secretary, treasurer, sergeant at arms. How can you be a club officer? The Toastmasters year, it ends on 30th of June every year. Before the end of the year, the club announces a nomination committee. It is announced to everyone. If you're interested in taking up any role in the executive committee of the club, just send your name to that committee, and then on the day of elections, be here, contest in the elections, and if you are elected by the club, then you can serve in the executive committee. Every single role has a lot of you to offer for you. It is said that the true test of leadership is in leading a voluntary organization. If you want to develop your leadership skills, this is the place where you have to be, and this is the committee that you want to be working with. The next requirement, working as a club mentor or a club coach. Whenever a new club is chartered, a new club is supposed to have at least 1, and at maximum 2 mentors. They are assigned either by the club growth director or the team who are working on chartering that club. What are the responsibilities of a club mentor? As a club mentor, you have to guide that newly chartered club, which has all the new members. When you charter a new club, it is mandatory to have 17 new members. Only 3 can be dual. At least you have to have at least 20 members. When there are only 3 dual members, the rest of the 17 members, they need guidance on how to get the maximum out of their Toastmastership. And as club mentor, it is your responsibility to guide them, to nurture them, and to make that club and the members of that club self-sustainable and self-sufficient so that they can continue their journey and the club can self-sustain for the years to come. The second is acting as a club coach. Being a club mentor, you nurture a new club and you help the new club to grow. As a club coach, you revive an old club. To be a club coach, you have to get in touch with your vice president education. You have to tell your vice president education that you want to act as a club coach. Your vice president education will stay connected with the club growth director, who is the one who appoints the club coaches. The club growth director will stay in touch with your VP education, and he or she will tell them whenever there is a need of club coach for certain club. When a club can have a club coach, when a club has 12 or less than 12 members, the club qualifies for a club coach. You will be appointed as club coach if you are not a member of that club. What you will be doing is you will be working with the executive committee of that club. You will analyze the situation of that club. You will bring in an outsider's perspective as to why the membership is not growing, where the things go wrong, and then give your suggestions to the executive committee and help in reviving the club. Once you have done that and you have helped the club in becoming a distinguished club, you will get the credit for being a club coach. You have 2 years as club coach to achieve that target. You can either ensure that the club becomes a distinguished club within the first year of appointment. If it doesn't happen due to any reason, you have another year to do that, work with the executive committee, inculcate your own skill set, and ensure that the club becomes a distinguished club. If it doesn't happen in 2 years, you can request the club board director at that time to appoint you again, or you can talk to your mentor about where you could have worked better in helping the club to become a distinguished club. This is how you can work either as a club mentor or a club coach. Either way, you will get credit, either by working as club mentor or by club coach, you will get credit and a checklist item done towards your DTM. Now, we had a requirement of working either as a club sponsor or establishing a youth leadership program or working on a speech craft program. You can do any of these 3 things and you will get a credit towards your distinguished award. What is a club sponsor? We talked about the club mentor. A club mentor guides the new club to ensure that the club becomes self-sustainable. What does a club sponsor do? A club sponsor is responsible for chartering a new club. He brings in new members for the new club, at least 20 members to help in chartering that club. Being a club sponsor, it doesn't mean you have to financially sponsor that club. This is a misconception that a lot of people have. You do not have to contribute financially. You only have to use your persuasive skills to persuade people to become a member of that newly chartered club that is going to be launched. So that is a wonderful test of your persuasive skills. And in applying your persuasive skills, you will find out that there's a different thing that motivates and inspires everyone. And in doing so, you will not only learn and grow yourself, but you will also be touching the lives of others and making a difference in their lives. You can either work as club sponsor, or you can work on a youth leadership program or speech craft program. What is a youth leadership program? A youth leadership program works in the same way as a Toastmasters club does. It is a workshop where we conduct 8 sessions. Every session has the same 3 segments as that of a Toastmasters meeting: the table topics segment, the prepared speeches, and the evaluations. The only difference is that it is conducted with people who are below 18 years of age. You can collaborate with the school, or you can collaborate with your kids and their friends and conduct a youth leadership program for them. You cannot charge any money for conducting youth leadership program. The youth leadership program is to be sponsored by the club of which you are a member. If you want to conduct a youth leadership program, it will be sponsored by Rawalpindi Toastmasters Club. The second is Speechcraft program. Speechcraft program is just like youth leadership program. However, it is for people who are above 18 years of age. You can conduct Speechcraft program within your club or outside your club. What it entails is it ensures that you develop the basic public speaking skills within the people who are participating in that Speechcraft session. It has 4 to 8 sessions, 1 to 2 hours, same format, table topics, prepared speeches and evaluations. The only difference from the normal meetings that both youth leadership program and Speechcraft program have is that every single member has to have a mentor. Usually it is encouraged that one member gets one mentor. They connect with their mentor, they prepare their projects, and in every single session, all the participants, they deliver their projects, unlike the usual club where we have 3 or 4 prepared speeches. Who will get the credit of conducting that youth leadership program and Speechcraft program? The one person who takes the initiative and organizes that youth leadership program or the Speechcraft program. We call that person a coordinator. That person will get the credit for conducting the Speechcraft program or the youth leadership program. How it will benefit you if you conduct it within your club? It will ensure that the new members, they are familiarized with the pathways and they can deliver their projects at a relatively faster pace as compared to in regular sessions. And if you conduct it outside the club, it will help you in bringing in new members to your club, along with the possibility of chartering a new club. For example, a few years back, we conducted a speechcraft program with eMamba. It's a software house, it's an organization. And after that speechcraft program, they were so happy with the progress that their employees had made, they chartered their own club. And within 2 years, they have their own club. Last year, Cloud 122, the online club in Pakistan, they conducted a speechcraft program within their club, where they encouraged all the members to be a part of that program. And that resulted in a lot of members delivering their projects. There were a lot of members who were members for the last 6 or 8 months, but they were very shy in delivering even their icebreaker. That encouraged all of them to deliver their projects and in turn learn and grow a lot. Last but not the least, the DTM project. What is a DTM project? In a DTM project, you have to work on a project that benefits an organization. It can be the Toastmasters organization, or it can be a place where you're working, or it can benefit the community that you are living in. For example, when I did my DTM, what I did for my DTM project was organizing organizing an international speech contest at the area level. What we did was, 2 months back, I contacted all the clubs. We had 5 clubs in the area at that time. I contacted all the clubs, 7 clubs in the area at that time. I contacted all the clubs. All of them had done their club level contests. We engaged their winners. We did a lot of marketing. And that resulted in having a full house. We conducted it in the auditorium. We had more than 100 people who witnessed that session. And that event was covered by more than 15 newspapers, including the Business Reporter. And that resulted in almost all the clubs getting new members from the potential members who attended that segment. So it's entirely up to you. What is the project that you want to choose? You can choose any project that can help. If you're an entrepreneur, you can choose a project that helps your business. Or if you're working somewhere, you can choose a project that helps your organization, or you can collaborate with your club and conduct a session. The hardest part of any new project is getting started. If you start and if you make up your mind that you're going to learn and grow, no one can stop. I'll be happy to respond to any queries that anyone of you has.
Thank you so much for the one question that I have heard that in 1 year you can only complete quantity of one part. So is it true?
No, it's not true. You can complete both pathways in 1 year.
1 year.
It's entirely up to you. You can deliver a speech every single day if you have that capacity to prepare and deliver a speech every single day. It's entirely up to you.
We can have the credit in 1 year.
Yes, of course you will get. There's a difference that if you complete level 1 of 2 different pathways. In the DCP, the club will get the credit, your credit in completion of level 1 in only one of that.
Okay, great.
However, you will get the credit for both.
I wanted to ask you, sir, you can have a DTM project that is related to your business. So does it have to be something related to public speaking or communication, or can it be any?
It can be anything. It can be anything. The only thing that you have to do is you have to build a team. You have to have 3 or 4 mentors who will guide you throughout that project. There's an entire booklet of how to conduct that DTM. You have to have a vision, you have to have a goal, and then you have to decide how you're going to go about that project. You have to deliver 1 speech, 5 to 7, sharing your plan with the club members. And then as you start working towards your project, towards the end of your project, you deliver in 8 to 10 minutes, sharing your learnings. The only requirement in this is that it has to benefit an organization. That's not the requirement.
Thank you, Vicky. May I have a question? Insightful question. My question is that there are 800 to 1,000 Toastmasters, and there are hundreds of people who are to be their second part. But it's very, the process is very slow for opening a new club. Like there are not so many clubs opening at once. So there are a lot of people in queue for the position of club sponsor or club mentor. So my question is that how to be in that queue, how to be first in that queue. And there are so many Toastmasters, but the positions are very few. How to tackle this issue?
Why not create your own path? Start working on chartering a new club on your own. Charter that club. You have a full club. You have a lot of people. Get in touch. Engage all the people. There are 2 positions of club sponsor and 2 positions of club mentor. 4 people can get a credit by chartering 1 club. Make a team of 4 people. Start working on a club. You can start working on a community club. Find a place. Start conducting pre-charter meetings there. Start engaging people there. Take initiative, and definitely you will charter the club.
So, is there any criteria for the district to or they give slots to the people who approach them first for the club mentor?
There is no such criteria. For being a club sponsor and for being a club mentor, you have to work to earn that credit. If you want to be a club sponsor, take the initiative, charter the club. When you're chartering the club, the only requirement for being a club sponsor is finding new members, conducting demo meetings with, if we want to open a corporate club, reaching out to that organization, conducting demo sessions there, and convincing them to open that club, filling the forms, sending the forms to Toastmasters International, along with the fees. And in doing so, you can also engage 2 or 3 people from your own club who are going to mentor that club.
What if there are many people who are interested in this?
There are a lot of people who are interested. Yes. The club you are chartering, whoever puts in the maximum effort and the members who are brought in, they basically decide. If they cannot decide, they are open to anyone. You can contact the club growth director, and the club growth director can see who is the best suitable candidate for being appointed as the club mentor. To be a club mentor, you have to have thorough knowledge of how Toastmasters work, how pathways work, so that you can guide the club accordingly. So if there is a new member who has recently joined the club and he doesn't know about Toastmasters, and there's an experienced member, of course, the experienced member will fulfill the criteria of being a mentor as compared to the
Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Umair, distinguished Toastmaster Umair, who is giving his beautiful insight about the educational session. So, moving back to our theme of the meeting, right mindset is the key to fight self-doubts. So, do you feel that we have certain doubts about our own personality?
Sometimes
Yes.
Sometimes we do.
Sometimes we do. Yes, please. Yes. Yes, we have certain doubts in our mind. And one common complaint which we are always talking about is consistency. We say that we are not consistent. Everyone is saying that we are not. I am not consistent. I am not doing the things as I have to complete. So the formula to become a consistent guy is finish what you start. This is a common rule which you can apply in your life. I have applied it in my life so many times. and I am reaping the results. So most of the time, whatever I start, I complete that one. With this, I'm moving forward towards our first prepared speaker, who is none other than Toastmaster Meher, who is going to present his speech about Project 2, Level 2 Presentation Mastery. And his speech will be evaluated by Toastmaster Salman. So with this, I am just giving the stage to Toastmaster Meher, who is going to deliver her speech. Are you ready, ma'am?
Yes, Toastmaster Mayu. How will I see the timer?
Through this first. Can you see?
To this.
Yes, I can see.
The stage is yours, ma'am.
Okay, let me just, sorry. Let me just... I'm sorry, can you show the card again, please? The timer card. Yes, okay.
You can pin Toastmaster Akash Kumar.
Okay, I got it. I got it. Am I audible and visible? Guardian angels. It was a cold spring afternoon in Colorado, and I was anxiously waiting in line to call my father using the school telephone. I had forgotten to tell him about our early pack-up, and he had to pick me up from school. We had shifted to America not too long ago, and the routine that we had fallen in here was very different from the one we were used to in Pakistan. Though I was only 6 years old, I used to walk to school every day with my much older but very caring neighbors, Amelia and Catherine, who used to go to the same school as myself. But as I stood there, watching child after child walk into the school office, my position barely budging from where it had been, I suddenly realized, oh no, what if Abu was not at home either? Wasn't he supposed to have his afternoon class today? We had joined him in America because he was completing his master's degree. He could be in college. I looked around, trying to find Amelia and Catherine, but I couldn't see them anywhere. They had probably just gone home. How could I be so forgetful? Oh, but I had to solve this problem. So, being the elder responsible child I was supposed to be, I decided to take matters into my own hands and make life easy for everybody. So I left the line, picked up my satchel with my lunchbox and books, and walked out of school. I walked, and I walked, and I walked a long way, past the school building, past the main road, turned the corner until I faced the highway. Oh, and good grief, there was no pedestrian sidewalk here. How was I going to get to the other side? I waited for the traffic light to be red, traffic to stop, and then I stepped into the middle of the highway on the narrow green belts after crossing the road. Cars whizzed past me on either side as I lumbered with my load, and the planted shrubbery hardly allowed me to pick up any pace. I was tired and miserable, just egging myself on to focus on the traffic light at the far end, after which my mother's school would come into focus. She used to teach there at the Montessori, along with to support my brother's education. Now, as I was walking along, suddenly the traffic slowed down. And as I saw the cars jam-packed, bumper to bumper, a car door opened on my left, and the driver beckoned to me. Get in the car, quickly, come on. At first, I didn't know what to do. But then, 6 years old, tired, worried, my feet were hurting. It would be so much easier if he would just drive me there, right? I should get in the car, right? What should I do? He had a friendly face. Yes, I got in the car. The moment I sat down in the front seat and fastened my seatbelt, I noticed a lot of soda cans in my feet. Soda cans or beer cans? I'm not really sure. The man turned to me and said, "Where were you going?" And I gave him the directions. There was a pause, and then he turned to me again, looked at me straight in the eye, and asked, "Do you know why I asked you to sit in the car?" No. Why? Because, little girl, God told me to. And I just stared at him. God told him to? Now, I was young, but even I understood that in America, people understood God in many different ways, and sometimes not even at all. So this was a clear surprise. But the naive, overconfident child that I was, you know what I thought? Really? The soda cans seem to tell a different story. Anyhow, that man drove me all the way to my mother's school, walked me inside the gate, and handed me over to her. Soon after, a blonde-haired lady walked in as well. She had followed me all the way after she saw me get into his car, just to make sure that I was out of danger, just to make sure that I was safe. Ladies and gentlemen, I can only commend my mother for showing nerves of steel when she heard this fantastic story. America is a big place. According to the FBI's National Crime Center for Crime Information, 365,348 children were reported missing just in the year 2020 alone. Decades ago, who knows, if it hadn't been for my guardian angels, I could have been on that list. The world is a big place. What goes through the mind of a child? Maybe he loses his way following his friends. Maybe she sees an interesting toy in the store window and forgets to hold on to her mother's hands. Day in, day out, we hear stories of kidnappings, human trafficking, missing children, innocents abused. What are we doing in the midst of this tragedy? Does it take fancy tools and a database to help these children? Or does it simply mean that you just look after the person sitting next to you? Maybe it just means being alert, being informed, being a responsible community. Just think, my fellow Toastmasters, what if each of us resolves to be more like those unnamed, unknown, but sensible community members who are ready to take action, ready to follow up, and ready to protect our children. If this would be the case, ladies and gentlemen, it would not be long before our streets and cities would be as safe for our children as a mother's prayer once again. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Toastmaster Meher, for such a wonderful speech. As we know that the most important thing which can help us in moving forward and achieving our targets is our habits. So we need to cultivate good set of habits in order to move forward. So what do you think about yourself? think about one self-doubt which you are still carrying with you. Just think about one self-doubt. As it is said that if you are not deliberately and knowingly forming the good habits, you are unknowingly forming the bad ones. So we need to develop, cultivate, and polish good habits in order to achieve our targets. So if we are going to develop this kind of right mindset, we can easily fight against all the odds of life, all the self-doubts. So with this, we have one more wonderful speaker. He is our own past president of our Pindi Toastmaster Club, who is going to deliver his prepared speech regarding Project 3, Level 5, Persuasive Influence. So let me welcome him with a huge round of applause, our own past president, Toastmaster Akash.
Have you ever heard this voice? Yes. From coming to audience to this podium, even a journey of 2 steps seems like a journey of 1,000 miles. My fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests, it was March 2018. There was a boy who had same kind of heartbeat. It was his first Toastmasters meeting. Before coming to stage, he didn't know what the Toastmaster is. And there are people sitting out there who are calm, confident. And that boy reached out to those people and he said to him, "What is this Toastmaster? Is it a master who is master in making toast? That's what Toastmaster is?" And they said to me, "Join us and you will get to know how to make toasts. In fact, you will become a toast. And then you will become a Toastmaster. And you will get to know what a Toastmaster in spirit is." I said, "Okay." I joined that club. And that club is Rawalpindi Toastmasters Club. We were having charter meetings on those days. Toastmaster Kamal Raj came to me and he said to me that, "Toastmaster Akash, you will become a Toastmaster. Toastmaster is famous for public speaking. But think in your mind, this is what you are doing for your own being. What you are going to do for others. Be that person who is going to give something out of his own existence to the people. Would you like to volunteer for the VPPR?" That hits me. I said, "Why not?" I joined the Rawalpindi Toastmasters Club as a Vice President Public Relations. And then the journey continues, not as a public speaker, but a volunteer in different volunteer leadership roles, from club secretary to trader to secretary to VPPR to VP education, and then I stepped as a president of RTC. My fellow Toastmasters, when I was the VPPR, I've been asked to step in as a president. I refused. Well, think for a moment. Someone is asking you that you can be the president and there is no one in your competition. Are you going to refuse it? Most of us are not going to. But those who truly understand servant leadership, they are going to understand. Because servant leadership is not about titles. It's about how you can serve better, where you can serve better. I refused to be the president at that time because I thought at that time, as a VP education, I can contribute more. Because there were 30 members in Rawalpindi Toastmasters Club and we were left only 5. I was thinking, where's the crap? And what I found that the pathways were not being followed. So I made a strategy that we can implement pathways in Rawalpindi Toastmasters. And I started studying what pathways is. And I found it a very beautiful mechanism. Now, can you tell me what is the first level of pathways? Like, what is the first level of pathways? Yes. The first level is increasing your knowledge. The second level is knowing yourself. The third level is increasing your knowledge. The fourth level is building your skills. And the fifth level is demonstrating expertise. You see, Toastmasters, how beautifully Toastmasters has designed. It's giving you every opportunity to learn and grow. I gave my first speech from the pathways. I learned the basic, the fundamentals of giving speech, how to organize speech. Then I learned my own leadership styles. Bruce Lee once said that it's not about knowing or knowledge, it's implementing that knowledge. And being a president, I applied every leadership style, from authoritative to being bureaucratic to being democratic. So those EC members who are sitting here, they remember my 5-minute calls. How many of you have remembered 5-minute calls? Yes, just 5-minute calls.
Sarcasm.
And I pray for my new team for getting just 5-minute calls. So I've learned how to manage conflict through Toastmasters. And I understood from Toastmasters that the word we say and how we say are going to impact others. Going forward, I built my skills of leading in different difficult situations. There was a time when I was a president, the pandemic hits us and we have to choose to switch it to online setup or to go in person or to choose a hybrid setup. There are few members who were saying that we are going to go for the online. There are few members who said we are going for the physical meeting. So that was a very difficult situation because we may lose our members at that time. It's a very difficult situation as a president. As a president, we don't want to lose our members. So we held the voting and we made a consensus. And we went for hybrid meeting. And we haven't lost any member at that time. Going forward, demonstrating expertise. There was a time that the membership of Rawalpindi Toastmasters Club went down again. From 23 members, we are left with 13 members. We had to run the club. There were renewals approaching and we were not having members. Then we decided to hold an open house session. And there, first time in my life, I learned through these Toastmasters how to manage a successful meeting. I created a team and I invigorated a dream in every team member that it's not my dream, it's not RTC dream, it's your dream. And everyone is working like a soldier. I still remember Toastmaster Atif is setting the strategy, Toastmaster Rabia was setting the refreshments. Everyone was doing teamwork. And within that single event, we gained 10 members. Toastmaster is not a place just about public speaking. It teaches us many skills like time management, like conflict resolution, like interview skills. My future plans based on my learning for Toastmasters. Today, I'm going to announce that we are going to open a new club in Twin Cities, that is Twin Cities Toastmasters Club. So I request all of you to join that club. Moreover, as a public speaker, my future plan is to have 4 or 5 speeches. Usually a speaker has 1 speech, but my future plan is to have 4 or 5 well-prepared speeches from where I can earn money as well. My takeaways from past 3 years journey is that get feedback from the people around you. Give ear to all their opinions and float and choose which is the best. My takeaway is that broaden your horizon, diversify yourself, redefine success, work hard to achieve that success. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Akash. Now, one thing which I missed, that speech of Toastmaster Akash will be evaluated by none other than our distinguished Toastmaster Malik Umair. With this,
we know that we cannot do anything without paid puja. So we have a refreshment break.
So that would move for the best speaker.
And we have also networking break. So before going into refreshment, I would like to request to all of you to vote for the best prepared speaker.
Yes, all of them.
Repeat the names of the speakers.
We have two speakers, Toastmaster Meher and Toastmaster Akash, and both of them are qualified.
Yes.
So vote for both the speakers. Thank you. Welcome to all of you again. So now we are moving towards our second segment, which is really interesting as well as scary. So table topic session is one of the best sessions which I have ever observed in my life. Because if you feel that you are a senior Toastmaster, but still when you are asked to talk about any new topic on your field, your heart starts pumping. So with this, we have our seasoned and distinguished fellow Toastmaster Mubashir Nasir, who is going to conduct table topic session. So help me welcoming Toastmaster Mubashir Nasir.
Thank you, Toastmaster, after giving Toastmaster my name. Today I am table topic master, and my role is I random call some person here and I give him a topic. And a person speak on the topic minimum for 1 minute and maximum for 2 minutes. So this is the section where we have chance to improve our caliber, our interview skills, our mentality, our thinking skills. So I want that we conduct this section by energy. Please be energetic and say loud, Pakistan Zindabad. Pakistan Zindabad. Be loud, Pakistan Zindabad. So, first of all, I call our club president, Toastmaster Hassan. My question is, what is your favorite place for visit and why?
Thank you so much, Table Topic Master, for giving me the topic, which is of course very close to my heart because I'm fond of traveling and I'm fond of visiting different restaurants, different hotels. So my favorite spot is a place in E11. It's called Sadhu Retreat. The place is pretty amazing. It is an outdoor sitting area where you can sit with your friends, family members, and have a great cup of tea and some scrumptious pakoras as well. And on top of that, that place has got swimming pool as well, where you can go and swim around. And then there is archery over there. And the good part about that place is that that place is owned by a very famous actor who was a part of drama, which was produced by Army recently. I don't recall the name of that drama, but he was, sorry, he was the father of that lady who got married to that guy. So that place, I used to go there a lot. I still go there, and we used to do a lot of trips regarding to different hiking, and then there are a lot of other activities which I go there. I recently joined a 2 days of rock climbing course there, where I learned how to climb the rock. It was a great experience. And when I was climbing the rock, I realized when I have to put a lot of efforts to climb that path, I can relate that to my Toastmaster journey as well. Because in Toastmaster, when I joined for the first time, as just Toastmaster just shared with us that my heart was pumping like that, and my legs were also shivering. And I learned through practice that we can achieve anything in life if we have strong dedication and strong mindset. So that's what I observed and learned while climbing the wall, and it was a great experience. So that's my favorite place to go there with family and friends and learn some different skills. Thank you. Over to you.
Now I would like to call our guest Toastmaster Bilal. So my question is, most people say that the real Eid was in childhood. The real Eid was in childhood. What's your opinion about this?
Thank you so much. In my point of view, we never grow old. If our heart, and it's my experience that if you want to have the beautiful life and the enjoy in your life, always be a child. I recently experienced my Eid in my hometown. Honestly, I was like a child. I was my buddy friends, childhood friends. I was like a child. Yes, I used to work. I'm much conscious to do the work, but in workplace. But spending Eid is like a childhood. And we used to go with different old memories to different places that we used to go and during our school days, even college days, and used to enjoy there. And always share the childhood memories with each other, and still we behave each other like a child. So it was a very good fun. And don't forget that still I'm at the age of 20, 40, 50, whatever you have the age, always spend your Eid like a child. You will never miss the childhood. So this is my point.
Now I would like to call our ex-president Sir Akash. The question is, whenever in childhood guests came into your house, did you expect Eid from them? Did you expect Eid from them? Maybe when some guests came, we think in our mind that when they go, they give us some money as Eid. Did you expect Eid from them? Okay.
My fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests, eat. I love to do that when I was a child. Since I am a member of minority community, we used to have Diwali, we used to have Holi, and I was the only one among my siblings who waits for the guest. I don't care about anyone else. I used to sit on the door, having an eye on the door when the guest will arrive. And they will have for me. And whenever the guest used to arrive, I used to butter them. With my childish tone, uncle, you are very amazing. Uncle, you are very amazing. Uncle, you are very sweet. Uncle, you are very cute. And with my childish sweetness, they get wallet out of their pocket and they said, "Here's your ED." I was like, wow, mission successful. So my fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests, these are the memories, what we cherish when we grow up. Always cherish these memories. Over to you.
But I still, when guests came to my house, I expect to do something. Yeah, because you have a lot of money in your pocket, but the Hindi has a special feeling. Now I would like to call Toastmaster Salman. Toastmaster Salman, my question is, how was the first day of the school? Did you cry on that day when you went to school?
Thank you, Toastmaster Worship, for such a childish question. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, did you remember your first days at school? Me too. It was my first day at my school. And the one who brought me there was my father. He took me to the school. When I saw the big gate of my school, I said, "What is this place?" My father said, "This is your school." I was thinking like my father would be with me throughout the day. But at the end of the day, I was all alone. My father took me there, he left me alone and said bye-bye. There was a moment when I used to cry. Literally, because same experience you had also faced during your school days. But gradually, with the passage of time, I used to be a good child. Because those were the days when I used to cry. I made some good friends during my study, and with the passage of time, it was like a home place for me. So, fellow Toastmasters and guests, life is just like a journey. We experience so many things from childhood until now. We are learners. The day when I tried, there was a learning for me to be something in the future. Thank you very much. Over to you.
Thank you. Now I like to call DTM Umar San. Umar San. Actually, but my question is, what makes a person beautiful?
Thank you so much, Team Topic Master. What makes a person beautiful? That depends on how we define beauty. If we define beauty as a physical attribute, then for that person, beautiful will be someone who is handsome. And if we define beauty with inner attributes, then for that person, beautiful will be someone who is empathetic, who is caring, and who is going to be there for you whenever you want that person. When the pandemic hit us, all of us realized that how important it is to have the second kind of beautiful people in our lives. There was complete lockdown all across the world. And there were a lot of people who underwent depression, anxiety, because they were unable to connect with their loved ones, with their friends. So if you have people who have inner beauty in your life, the second type of beauty, you are indeed one of the few lucky people. And I'm lucky in that sense as well, because I have a lot of people who have that second kind of beauty. And I'm lucky to call all of them friends. My question to all of you, ladies and gentlemen, is how do you define beauty? Do you define it with reference to physical attributes? Or do you define it with reference to how a person behaves? If you define it with reference to physical attributes, then the incidents like the one happened a few days back with Miss Noor, those kind of incidents will keep on happening. But if we can change our definition of beauty to the second kind, we can take a stand and we can stop such incidents from happening. And I strongly believe that it is high time that we change our definition and start working towards the betterment of our society.
Thank you all of you to explain your opinion very well. It's over from me. Please come to Toastmaster Meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mubashir Hassan, for conducting such a wonderful table topic session. Now, we have next evaluation session, which is being conducted by none other than Toastmaster Umar Hussain.
Vote for the table topics.
Okay. Meanwhile, all of you are requested to vote for the table topic speakers. Please let us know about all the candidates have been qualified.
Yes, all of the candidates have qualified, and I would just spell out the names of the table topic speakers. TM Hassan, TM Bilal from ITC, TM Akash, TM Salman, and our guest DTM Umair.
Okay, thank you. Now, I would like to hand over the next session to our own Toastmaster Umar Hussain. Please help me welcoming Toastmaster Umar Hussain.
Hello, Toastmasters and distinguished guests. Next, we have evaluation section. I believe that we all have agreement that evaluation is unequivocal segment of the Toastmasters meeting. I personally think that evaluation section is the quality control section. Because in evaluations, basically we support each other, help each other to grow and learn together. When we provide evaluations by sandwich approach that is mostly used by all Toastmasters, first we motivate the people for their good and things that they are good in, we motivate them to do better next time. And when we highlight the things which need improvement, we provide a meaningful feedback which could enhance a fast track improvement in those people. So it's a support system that we provide to each other. Now moving towards our evaluation section, I would be calling my team members. First, the evaluator who will evaluate the table topic section. And for that, I will call Toastmaster, seasoned Toastmaster. He's a software engineer by profession, self-motivated Toastmaster Atif. Please, I want to say.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be evaluating the table topic session. Unfortunately, due to less time, we had few speakers, but still I think this evaluation is going to be useful for everyone because table topics is used in your day-to-day life. So understanding the science behind it or the feedback behind it is important for everyone. First of all, congratulations to Toastmaster Mubashir for conducting such a playful session, and the topics were very deep. So a round of applause for Toastmaster Mubashir. Now, the first speaker was Toastmaster Hassan. He was asked for the favorite place to visit. He was very energetic, and the best thing about his speech was that he had many references that all of us can relate to. I now want to go to that retreat, and I want to visit it as well. And he shared his experience to rock climbing to our experience in learning in Toastmasters. So that relatability was also brilliant. The only thing I would say, Toastmaster Hassan, is I can see you thinking. You sometimes look here and there and say, oh. So the audience should not feel like you're thinking, try to hide that, try to internalize it. Next was Toastmaster Bilal, and what's real Eid in your childhood? And I like that you paused at the start. It's okay to pause and think about the topic before you start. You don't have to jump in. And he told us about the story of his childhood and how he was, and I'm sure all of us in Eid were like that. And so also his story was very relatable. The only thing I would say is improve your expressions. You were talking about a very happy moment, but I couldn't see the joy on your face. I know you have a fantastic smile. You have seen me smile in the tall tales as well. So use that smile, use your expression to match your content. Next was Toastmaster Akash, who was given the topic is
did you wait for ED in your childhood? Now he's not a Muslim, I think, but he incorporated his perspective brilliantly. He didn't shirk from the topic. So that is brilliant. You can give your own spin on the topic. His facial expressions were brilliant. His movement was brilliant. His acting out the scenario was very engaging. The only thing, although your speech was perfect, you did not acknowledge the Toastmaster, the table topic master, and I think you should do that. Next was Toastmaster Salman. First year at school, he started with a question and he shared a story about crying. Again, Toastmaster Salman, your facial expressions were missing. When you're crying as a child, I should feel that pain. And so just incorporate expressions in your speech as well. Next was GTM Malik Umair. What makes you beautiful? A very deep topic by Toastmaster Mubashir. And he gave us two perspectives. And the best takeaway, and after explaining the whole perspective, the best takeaway is everything that he chose to get to a conclusion was topical. He showed us how during pandemic, we understood that real beauty, inner beauty is important. And secondly, all of Pakistan is enraged by a recent incident. And again, he used a very topical and very serious situation in his table topics. So remember, table topics is for real life conversations. So you have to use topical topics because in real life, you will do that all the time. So that was brilliant by Toastmaster GTM Malik Umair. I don't have any suggestions for him. I thought it was brilliant. Last was, yeah, that's it. So, yeah, one thing that I would recommend Toastmaster Mubashir is we had many guests. I like it if you incorporate the guests in table topics because they get a taste of what Toastmasters is like. Other than that, it was a brilliant session and all speakers were brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Brilliant presentations. Next, we have a Toastmaster who's very calm and confident, and his style of speaking really inspires me. And sometimes I just really get jealous because I just can't control the way when I speak about the speech. He's working as a manager in a private company, and he'll be evaluating our first prepared speaker, Toastmaster Mahab. So please, on stage, Toastmaster Mahab.
Thank you, General Director, for such a wonderful introduction. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, have you ever heard a great speaker that inspired you on the spot? Right. Today we heard a similar kind of speaker who inspired us through her storytelling. She took us her story, quite an example from her childhood. Someone said, a great speech is like a pencil. It has to have a point. Toastmaster Meher got a great point, a hidden point. It was a great message. One great point of her speech was her beginning. Every speech has a great point to hook the audience, and she did it marvelously. One word for her speech, it was fabulous speech. When she referred to some examples from her childhood, I was just feeling like I'm among those children she was referring to when she was in, I think, America. The next point, the sense of responsibility, being a child. That was a great message for everyone sitting here. That as a child, it is very difficult to show bravery to someone else when someone calls you for something else. She did it well. She responded to that person with bravery. She was confident enough. But she remembered everything throughout his speech. The phrases from childhood
And the example she quoted from her childhood were saying like, oh, had been some experiences like her. The next good point was she emphasized on some good points. Like I said earlier, responsibility. Then as a child, if you are responsible for something else, that is great because you refer to kidnapping, missing children, like in America. America is a well-developed country. But those examples can be found in our country. But in America, if children are missing, that is a questionable thing. As Toastmaster Meher is one of the seasoned speakers, so I hardly found something for her as recommendations so that she can improve her speeches in future. The only one thing is stage movement. Adding some emotions because it was a storytelling. So my humble suggestion is use the stage purposefully and add some emotions to your speech because you were referring to your childhood. Smiling face, some emphasis on some points. Overall, your speech was marvelous, fabulous, and would like to listen to you again in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ma'am, for excellent evaluations. Next, we have evaluator who's a Toastmaster and a mentor by passion. I've been interacting with him so many times on online. Lately, he was there on training for effective committee members, especially for evaluations. He's a chartered accountant by profession. He's a really inspiring figure as I learned so much during that training of evaluations. I will call on stage in round of applause, Toastmaster GTM Mike.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, the evaluator. Toastmaster Akash. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Akash, for taking us on an emotional roller coaster journey through your speech and sharing with all of us your takeaways when you completed your pathway. Some of the things that I absolutely loved in your speech, the first and foremost, your opening. When we open our speech, we have 10 to 15 seconds to grab the attention of the audience. And you did that beautifully by producing the sound of heartbeat, walking on stage, and then following it up with a question from the audience and taking their response from them. That was absolutely beautiful. The second thing that I loved about your speech was your body language and use of prop. For example, when you said that when I first came on stage in front of all the audience, you used open hand gestures like this to signify people are sitting there. That was absolutely beautiful. And when you said that the first level of pathway, you used conventional hand gesture, that was also absolutely spot on. The second thing in your body language was your facial expressions. When you were talking about your first time on stage, we could literally see it on your face, the nervous expression that you had on your face. That went with the message that you were trying to convey. So hats off to you for that. And last but not the least, the prop, the red that you used on which a master was written, it was absolutely beautiful, the way you used it to convey your message. The third thing that I loved about your speech was how you transitioned from sharing your leadership experience, initially when you were talking about your leadership experience, and then the way you transitioned towards your educational journey by asking the audience a question. What is the first level of pathways? That was absolutely beautiful, and it resulted in smooth transition from one idea to the next idea. Coming towards the areas of improvements, you are a very experienced speaker, and mashallah, you've accomplished so much in your 3 years as Toastmasters journey. The first and foremost, the requirement of the project was to reflect on your growth during the completion of your part, which means the completion of your educational part. You started off with your leadership journey. So, and midway through the speech, you started talking about your educational part. So in my humble opinion, if you could have shared the educational journey first and foremost, and then transitioned towards the leadership journey, it would have been more impactful. The second recommendation that I have is when you talked about Toastmaster Kamar Shiraz and him giving you an advice, it was a role play. And in my humble opinion, if you can incorporate a little bit of voice imitation and use role play like Toastmaster Meher did in her speech, when Toastmaster Kamar is giving you an advice, stand here, or you can turn around and look towards this side where you are standing, and then convey the message. And then if you want to ask the question again, move here, turn here, so the audience know who is talking at this point in time, whether it's you or it's Toastmaster Kamar Shiraz. Overall, absolutely wonderful speech with good opening, body language, and transition. Just a few recommendations, and I'm sure that sky is there. Over to you.
Thank you, Priya, for very insightful evaluation. Now we move towards the old days. Timer, first we start with the timer.
Sure. So I'll begin with the table topics first. In the table topics, TM Hassan took 1 minute 25 seconds, TM Bilal took 1 minute and 39 seconds, TM Akash took 1 minute 58 seconds, TM Salman and DTM Umair both taking 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Then we had prepared speakers. TM Meher took 7 minutes and 30 seconds out of her maximum time of 7 minutes. And then TM Akash also made use of the grace time and took 12 minutes and 30 seconds. So both of them have qualified. As far as the evaluators are concerned, TM Atif, who evaluated the table topic session, he took 3 minutes 56 seconds. And TM Salman and DTM Umair both took the grace period of 30 seconds and finished in 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Are the all available?
Yes, everybody's
Yeah.
You can tell the name of the evaluators.
The evaluators are Toastmaster Atif.
For table topic is.
So table topic, yes, Toastmaster
Salman and DTM.
and Toastmaster DTM Umair Malik. The second goes here. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. The grammarian, please. Our counter reports very please.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kumar. Today I'm performing 2 roles. I'm the R counter and also I'm the grammarian. So first I will tell you how many people have used the fillers, R, O, etc. and prime words. So TM Hassan used the filler R once, TM Bilal used twice, and TM Humayun used the prime word so once. So today the speeches went very smoothly and there were hardly any fillers or any prime words to identify. However, as far as my role as grammarian is concerned, there are multiple observations, and one of the observations is that just be careful about the gender of the person you're talking about. So one speaker unintentionally referred to Toastmaster Meher as he. Please just be careful about it. Then a repeated error in the speeches, in all the speeches delivered by the speakers at the stage was what we call in grammar, and I'm sure you are all familiar with, subject-verb agreement. So people says, it should be people say. Similarly, what make, what makes. So this is subject-verb agreement. Make sure that if you are using the subject which is singular, then you use an S with it, with a verb. Then somebody said that my regarding, I enjoy things regarding, it should be including. It's just a change of word. Regarding is referring to something which is related to, but here in this case it should be including. Including. I enjoy the tea break, and I love eating things including, not regarding. Then another problem was that we behave each other like child. We treated each other like child. It's probably first language interference. Then one of the speakers said, I sit on the door. I sit at the door. On the door means दरवाजा टूट गया हम उस पे बैठेंगे. या चढ़ के ऊपर बैठेंगे. At the door means at the doors. One thing which I just want to point out, we use this expression used to very frequently. Please remember, it is used for past habits. If we don't continue now. So maybe I'm sure Toastmaster Hassan will one day say, I used to smoke. He also get about his habit of smoking. Very soon in future he will say, I used to smoke. I don't anymore. So don't use it. Instead of that, you can use simple past tense. We play outdoors. We don't play anymore now. Or we would play outdoors. Please don't use this used to frequent. That's all. Thank you.
Now I'll be moving towards the evaluation of entire movement. It was an amazing day as far as our members and
all the guests are concerned. We were short of chairs. That's a good sign. And I would like all of you to give a big round of applause for our VP membership and President Sir for arranging all those new members. We started late, 20 minutes with the technical glitch. I hope we'll handle it next time. Yeah, please handle the vote slip for evaluation. Yeah, that's good. Initially, because the delay of the meeting was like a slow start, but Sergeant Arms with a smiling face brought the rhythm back, and he was very patiently waiting for everything to start. So then the real energy was brought back by our president, Big Man. He brought everyone back to the real situation, and he started the meeting with a very beautiful example of elephants explain and point of mindset, that how it matters, that how our past controls our mindset, with a beautiful example of elephant, that a tiny rope attached to a big elephant won't let him break it because of his past experiences. Our guests had a beautiful introduction. They were vocal and we had great turnout. Toastmaster Sarah presented a progress report on RTC pathway. That is a very good start that we had. She also distributed the forms to keep everyone engaged about the pathways, and we really were having some issues with the pathway follow-up. So I am now sure that people will be more engaged in this. The meeting was smoothly handed over to Toastmaster of the evening, and Toastmaster of the evening, Toastmaster Mayo, really explained the theme in such a way that he engaged everyone by quoting his own example, that how when he started his journey of Toastmaster, he was not able to say a one proper sentence, but now since he took over his fear head on and he faced the challenges, he accepted to face the challenges, and now he's able to speak in front of you on all topics. That was a good explanation on his part. Then we had an amazing guest educational session by BTM Omer.
who is currently serving as Program Quality Director for a district in Pakistan, who has also served as Club Growth Director for a district last year and have been awarded with Club Growth Excellent Award by Toastmasters International. That's a great achievement. Toastmaster Mubashir, after the short break, used a very amazing way of bringing energy back of Pakistan Zindabad. We were really down after a break, so he brought everyone back with full energy. Excellent, Toastmaster Mubashir. Two improvements that I would like to share. There was some distraction going on with the door. A lot of people were coming in and going out, and that was kind of distraction for the speakers, many speakers. And I don't know, maybe we have more people today and the short of chairs, so that happened. We need to control that in the future. We need to work on our technical system, make sure that it does not happen the next meeting, because initially when everybody comes, we are ready to participate with a good quick start. And when you face a delay in the beginning, so that really makes problems very tough. Overall, the meeting was amazing. A lot of turnout, new guests, new members, and everyone participated and enjoyed it. And that's all from my side.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rimmer, for that detailed. Yeah, I'm going to ask. Yeah. So now you guys need to vote for big three, and the big three were Toastmaster Umar for the general evaluator. For table topic session, it was Toastmaster Mubashir, and
Toastmaster of the evening for my.
Yeah, Toastmaster of the evening for big three. So please vote for big three. Meanwhile, let's have some comments from the guests. So I would like to call from the stage to come and share the feedback about the whole meeting. Thank you so much, Mr. President.
I think our youth is missing such environment. Our education institutes, our offices are missing this. Because I have seen there are many institutes which are working on extracurricular activities such as confidence building, grooming, but many institutes, there is Mr. Kumar, which will maybe agree with me that as we have some chartered institutes, ICAP and ICMAP are professional institutes. They are mainly focusing on their technical skills, but they are not focusing on their soft skills. So I think this club should grow, and every institute have its own Toastmasters club, so that grooming and confidence building could happen in every institute. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this. I would like to call guests, Toastmaster Bilal on the stage to share his feedback after this meeting.
Again, I observe great energy, enthusiasm, especially in the role players. But whoever getting any role, he is so passionate to deliver with the full responsibility. That was an amazing thing. And there were many things new for me, exactly presenting the pathway report. That was an amazing thing. I would say that gives the members to move on. That's the beauty of the Toastmaster. Keep on going this and really appreciate, and I would say give a round of applause for the consistency of Rawalpindi Toastmaster Club. Even we have single member, still we have hybrid meeting. Honestly, there was many things to learn and keep going.
Thank you so much. Now I would like to call DC Mumbai on the stage to share his concept on stage.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster. It was an absolutely lovely experience being here after a long time and to witness the energy and the professionalism in which all the role players, the professionalism that the role players displayed. And it showed that they have gone through the guidelines of their respective roles and then taken up those roles and performed those roles. That's how we all learn and that's how we all grow. Just one suggestion, try to come a little early so that the meeting can be started on time and ended on time, because time management is one of the key attributes that we all learn here as Toastmasters. Otherwise, absolutely phenomenal. Thank you.
All right, now it's time for the results. Any guesses for the best table topic speaker? DTM? Okay, any other guesses? Right, so the best table topic award goes to none other than Ditya Malikumar. All right, so who do you think is the best prepared speaker for today's meeting? Any guesses? No votes from Meher? And the award goes to Toastmaster Akash Kumar. All right, so next we have the Best Evaluator Award. Any wild guesses? Yes, so the award goes to yeah, we'll let you. And any guesses for Big Three Award? My Toastmaster Award. Any other guesses? And the award goes to Toastmaster Umar Malik. So we have some certificates for our guests. So I would like to call guest Ibrar. Next, I would like to call guest Farah on the stage to receive his certificate. I would like to call the Toastmaster Vlad on the stage. Next, I would like to call DT Mumbai on the stage for the acquisition of conducting a discussion with him. Now, there's a special trophy which we think it will reduce so much love for the completion of pathways. So I would like to call Toastmaster Akash on the stage to receive his trophy. Clapping everyone. Thank Thank you so much everyone for coming. It was a great meeting and I loved every bit of it. So with this, I'm going to enter this meeting. We'll meet on next Saturday, same time, same place. And now let's gather for the group photo. Thank you.
PM, can you start your video? We'll try to grab you in the group picture.
Sure. Okay.
One with mask and one without.
PM, your video is not visible to us.
Gee, sorry, sorry, let me just. जरा अजान हो रही है actually.
Also matter in front, I guess. For 1 or 2 weeks. All right. So proceed. One without mask. Thank you. That's okay. That's okay. I'm almost चले गए.
See the change. Hassan used to say very, and now Hassan becomes very.
Mine's a blood.
Thank you.
Speakers for the next time.